Hi and welcome to our video economics podcast for July the 5th, Tuesday from Westpac's London office. Another kind of quiet today, but with a bit of a negative bias on equity markets, mainly related to niggling concerns about exactly what is going to happen with the Greek bailout. We still haven't seen the IMF commit to its tranche of the payment, which is due next week, and the credit ratings agencies have thrown a potential spanner in the works by suggesting that even with creditors agreeing to roll their debt over, it could nevertheless qualify as a default, or at least a selective default, even if only temporary. And that in turn could cause problems for the European Central Bank, which would then not be able to accept Greek government bonds as collateral for loans to the banks. That's put a bit of a negative sentiment into markets today. On top of that, we had a slightly weaker than expected factory goods orders report out of the US. Orders rose but in the month of May, but by a little bit less than the 1% that had been expected. In Europe, we saw some disappointing downward revisions to the services PMI for the month of June, and also the latest retail sales figures for Europe were very soft as well. So a bit of a softer bias to the economic data today as well. Apart from that, it's just worth mentioning no particular Australian economic news to watch out for on Wednesday. However, it was interesting that the Reserve Bank's statement accompanying their no rate move decision yesterday suggested that they're starting to get a little bit more concerned perhaps about the outlook for global growth. That's been Westpac's thesis for a long time now. We're pessimistic about the US economy. We think the Chinese are potentially going to overslow their economy later this year. And as we've been warning time and again, we think there's big problems ahead for the European economy as well. Add all that up together and it's a less favourable global growth story, which will certainly impact on prospects for the Australian economy and indeed for Australian monetary policy in the months ahead. Okay, I'll speak to you again tomorrow.